the highest transfer fee we've ever gotten in our history. The record is
that's something we're going to have to start doing, man.
That's it. But when we got Pepe, no one believed originally that we was going to pay the 72 million. Why? Because we didn't bust them kind of transfer fees. Now it's the new norm, bro. So listen, if we want to get Declan, bro, like we need to start thinking about 70 million minimum. So
Declan is a starter for his team and he's in demand. Tierney, I agree with you. He's not a backup, but look, if he's not getting the minutes, then we can't be asking for 50 million. That's all I'm saying.
About the length
I can't lie. I'll share both you lot's opinions. I feel one hand we can't for 50, but I'm with Lee, man. In that way, no one cuts us any slack. It's everyone's telling each other unrealistic prices in this thing.
This is what annoys me. Yeah, why is it that we can't put money up for prices, but when it's Caicedo, they want 70, 80, 90
million. Only at the time he played 20 odd times in the Premier, you know.
Wait, hold on.
When come out of nowhere.
Don't even let me talk about Mudryk playing 31 games in the Ukrainian league and they wanted 90 million pound. Bro, listen, don't get me mad. 50 million.
Gunali, I appreciate your opinion, but and I agree with it. I just would like to remind you that we need to compare wing backs, left backs with left backs. You can't compare a center midfield price, transfer price with a left back.
No,
but we can do that, bro. Look, Chilwell, Cucurella, bro. There's left backs that I've gone for.
You know what? I'm not even doing that. I'm talking about the length. I'm talking about the length of the contract.
50 mils like the new 10 million these days as well. Like
I'm talking about the length of the contract. I'm talking about the team that wants to buy it. That's probably going to be Newcastle. 25. And he's 25. I'm talking about the age, and I'm talking about the most important thing. We don't have to sell. We're doing Newcastle a favor, letting the player go. So if we're letting him go, bro, 50 million pounds for me is a good fee.
I'm saying he's one of the best left backs in the league. Obviously, prior to getting rubbed out.
Maybe it's a good poll to put up, DG. If you have polls, maybe it's a good poll.
We already used it. Twitch gang, someone get that running, man. We'd have to ask the Twitch ones that, man. That's
50 million. I'm talking about. And you know what? When I say 50 million, I'm talking about minimum, bro. Minimum.
No, but I think I hear what you're saying.
I need you to take over Eddie's job real quick, man. Because if you're that confident, you can get 50 bags with this guy.
Let me ask you a minute. All right, cool. Your headphones, yeah? Bro, I want them headphones off you, innit?
Yeah.
I want them headphones off you. Bro, they might have been a present given to you, yeah? You're gonna say, do you know what? All right, cool. They're in full working order. I've only had them for a year and a bit. I don't want to sell them because they were a special present and they could be custom made. You might say, you know what? Okay, cool. I can use the money or whatever it is. You'll sell them to me, but you're gonna ask for more money, bro. Because they're in demand. It's about the demand, bro. You get me? So it's not about.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you because you weren't saying that Tierney's exact value is 50 million.
50 million. It's not
the value to what the club is, what they need. We don't need to sell him. If we were in a desperate scenario, you might see him go for 30, 32, whatever. We don't need to sell him.
The only issue for me is I think that he would want to leave for more playing time. And because he's been such a good professional with the club, I think we would lower our fee if no one is willing to pay the 50.
I hear that.
I hear that as well, man. We need to be harsh, man. I can't lie.
100.
Yeah, but sadly, Eddie.
No, it's an interesting conversation.
I can't lie. Eddie, he'll get G-shots on the bus or something, so we can't really.
On that topic, I want to ask you something, man. What do you not make of Edu? Because he's someone that polarizes opinion. With Edu, I think people can cut him his slack for what he's done in terms of recruitment, the new contracts allegedly with Saliba Martinelli and Gabby Martinelli and them guys there. Some people sit here and say, do you know what? When it comes to getting the top targets, we've seen it already in the summer and in Jan. We're linked with someone, they're their favorites. We don't get over the line. And outgoings, we need to probably move away. Not that there's many, but cutting players' contracts short and terminating it. What do you lot make of Edu currently?
I want to support it very much because I can see that he really does mean well. He's not just here to make bread and just do up nonsense, right? I can tell that he's trying his hardest. However, I look at even going the entire last 5-6 years, I can think of 2 signings, even before Edu, 2 sales rather that were worthwhile. Iwobi and Chamberlain, 30-40 M's, calm. The selling is not good enough. And let's be honest, the players that we've signed here, as much as we are all happy with them and they were fantastic for us, Trossard's been great, Jorginho's been very decent for us so far. It wasn't the most difficult signing to put over the line. Like Jorginho, he wanted to leave. He heard Arteta called. He said, yeah, cool, I'm going. It's not because Edu called him. It's because Arteta's like, yo, listen, I want you as part of the project. So with Edu's thing, if I can start seeing that he's able to sell, And we'll see with the Nketiah Balogun situation. If one of them has to go, which I believe one of them will do, let's see what kind of bread we get for them, and then I can finally understand what Eddie's really on. Don't know about you.
You know what? So go on.
No, I was gonna say I resonate with what he says. I think there's a lot of challenges for me because one, is it really realistically his fault? You know, a lot of the mess that he cleaned up, I think he could have done better. You know, canceling contracts of so many players, and we could have gotten a little bit of money. Even Mavropanos, like that just sticks in my head, like a really silly example. We could have gotten way more money for him, and he ended up doing really well the season after. So. For me, I agree. It's the selling and the prices that I'm not really happy with. But in terms of the buying, I mean, he's doing the business so far. I mean, it's him and Arteta. Let's not get it wrong.
Well, if I play devil's advocate, is he? Because while clearly we know Trossard's a great player, when you look at what his agent said he offered him to Arsenal. Now, Arsenal, that happens a lot. Arsenal will offer the player. It made sense. We didn't get Mudryk. Did he necessarily go for Trossard? I'm sure Trossard was on the list. He's a player admired, but the João Felixes, the Mudryks, these didn't happen. It goes back to getting Mikel.
Let me play devil's advocate as well, because the agent's job is to look good. So maybe even the agent's just like, he's boosting himself up. Maybe it was Arsenal that came and asked for it.
But we do see this continuous.
I'm the one who
if I'm honest.
And it's a hard one with the Edu thing, because when you look at individual instances and incidents that have happened, every single time he either comes off looking quite bad, or it doesn't always come down to it. And I look at the Mudryk thing. Okay, cool. Look, the issue is that it took so long and it was all in the newspapers. Why? It was maybe more from the other side, not from Arsenal's side, but it still got out, and that's probably more on him.
And fundamentally, bro, sorry to cut you, like I hear all of this, but like in football, it's either you win or lose. You might have played well in a game. Did you get 3 points? You might not be in the league. That's kind of where I want to go with Eddie, bro. Go on.
I kind of just more look at it as like, look, we had a set price and we didn't want to go over it. And Chelsea, they came in and that's where you kind of have to look at it and say, look, there's good things with that. There's bad things with that. And maybe your negotiation skills weren't good. But I'm not going to go into each individual thing. I don't think he's been as bad as people think. I don't think he's been as amazing as people think. But I do think positively, and I'm going to put a positive spin on it, he's going to learn from this now. He's going to learn from these things because, you think about it, he's a novice in the role. Arteta's a novice in the role. He's got better as a manager. Edu's got better. He actually has got better as a sporting director.
He has.
I think that over time.
But don't you think that's a unique scenario where, because I do think if the club bet on someone, not that I want it to be negative or anyone to lose their job, it's Mikel Arteta. As you said, unique position. You either have an experience or inexperience. Could a more experienced manager, when it's just time, that technical director, get things done? To counter that.
Well, yeah. Yes is the answer to your question, but I do think that unfortunately we've gone down this road. We're in this moment, and we've got what we've got, and we have to just kind of maybe put that in a position where, look, some things he's done all right. I think the way he handled the Aubameyang thing, no matter what no one says, I think when you look at what the actual details of it, I thought he did quite well to cancel the loan or cancel the contract, get Barcelona to pay that money. Then he's gone to Chelsea. Everyone
gave him that contract though. So what's happened in them 6 months? I got to play devil's advocate. So what's going on? We've also you got Willian and you've got Cedric on 100 bags now.
Yeah, but what I will say is, okay, look, the Cedric thing again. I'm not backing Edu.
I'm just playing devil's advocate, man.
I'm not saying if I'm looking at the Aubameyang thing, we gave him the money. The guy fell off a cliff. He did. He wasn't the same player. He wasn't running. And the other thing is, bro, like we've seen all these news that he's turning up late to 2 North London derbies. What more can you? So like the money thing, when we all wanted to stand, it was the right move to make. And just because he turned 31 didn't mean that he didn't deserve the money. I just think that he didn't have the drive anymore, and he didn't want to do the things that Arteta wanted. Ultimately, we've seen even when he went to Barcelona, he had a little bit of a good spell. He scored against Real Madrid and everyone was gassing off of him, but he wasn't that guy. He's come to Chelsea and we see what he's doing. So for me, I can give good cases. I can give bad cases. I think you have to also think Arteta wanted Cedric. I don't know why, but he did. He wanted to renew Luis. He did. So I'm not putting it all on Edu. I just think
that's also a fair point to the man. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, what would be your overall rating from 0 to 10? Because I heard a lot of good, bad, but
Edu, I would say, for me, I'd say 6.
I was going to say
exact same thing. So I think, go on.
I would have said 7. I would have said 7 if we had got The Caicedo one, the one that burnt, because I think he should have managed that better and said, don't go on the Instagram and start selling yourself, bro. Like what are you doing, brother? Like you can't do anything. That's where I think he mismanaged the situation. So overall, I would have said the 7, but because of that,
I disagree on that point, because I think they were just trying to take us for suckers, man. That guy was not worth 70. 80 million. I mean, we offered 70 million. These guys have never seen.
Brighton said my man is not for sale because they know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe if we did that early in January, it would have been different. I'd just be a devil's advocate.
As a negotiator, I would have said, look, I'm Edu. I'm gonna go directly to my man. You stay quiet, do your job, play your football, and I'll get you out of there. You don't need to talk. You don't need to go on, bro. You can't go on Instagram and start saying, I want to be. I've given all my all to Brighton.
2023, man.
You can't do that, man.
Do anything.
I think that was like he's just getting new agents, just broadly, just trying to get out of the club. I think Chelsea.
I still blame Edu, because you could have put your foot down and say, yo, do not talk. That's it.
No, man. How is he going to control that guy?
I hear that.
There's no way you can control that guy's action. Why would Caicedo care about what Edu's telling him not to do man? Like,
remember, Eddie would have been talking to his new agency. This guy's he's not silly. That's how it works. So he would have said, look, I'm going to get this guy out of here. You guys don't need to talk. I'm going to go directly to the owner of Brighton. So we don't have to do no more. You don't need to give out bat signals from Caicedo's side of things.
Man said bat signals.
I will get you out of here. That's what I'm saying. So he could have taken control with that situation.
You know what? My response to that, Gunnar Lee, is, dude, Edu probably didn't even think about telling them that, because he probably never even thought that he would have even done that.
Play devil's advocate. Ain't it his job to think that, though?
That's what I'm saying. Bro, listen, I'm a school teacher, yeah? If I take my kids out on a school trip, I have to think of every bad solution that can happen to make sure that I have protected myself and the kids. I'm an experienced teacher. I've been teaching 8 years now. So I have to know these things. If I was a first year teacher, they probably wouldn't let me take them out on a trip because I don't have that experience. You get what I mean?
And you don't know what you don't know.
I don't know everything. So what I'm trying to say to you is, if he had that experience, he would have told him straight away, be quiet, don't open your mouth, play your football, and I'll get you out of there. You know what I mean?
I hear that.
I'm not cussing out Eddie, because I'm great. I said I would have given him a 7, but I am saying I can see that he's got things to improve on, and I believe he will make those improvements.
And it's a massive summer as well.
I hear you, and I don't want to defend him, but some stuff is like common sense, man. We're talking about like multi-million-pound deals here. You would expect that at this level, right? You don't have to say something so obvious, right?
Do you see what you're doing? You're conflating money with sense. Common sense ain't common. So man with money don't just mean that you're smart. Look at Yaya Toure. Like, I love the guy. Man was crying over a cake, bro. Like, footballers are weird.
You're catching strays.
Yeah. I mean, so like, and I love for Yaya. He's one of the best centre midfielders ever. But like, I don't think it's just because these men have money that it just means automatically they're gonna make every right decision. They're gonna probably make more wrong decisions because they want more money and things get in the way. And he's talking about his own. That's all I'm saying.
So from what I'm gathering, what you're saying is, when you want to buy a player, any player, forget if it's Arsenal, forget if it's Edu, you should explicitly tell the player and his agent, oh man, make sure you don't twerk online on social media.
I don't think that's what he's saying. I don't think that's what he's saying. I don't think that's what he's saying.
I didn't say that. But listen, if you want to take that, then yeah, cool. I think if I'm the sporting director, and I know no matter what, I'm saying I'm getting you out of here. I've already rustled the feathers because it came out in the news before. Do you remember? It came out in the news. You were the one that was putting the news out. You're the news aggregator here, bro. You were putting the news out saying you were. Yeah, no,
I just don't.
To be fair, if he comes out and says I want to leave, that actually helps Edu, because he started training by himself and all these things as well.
But between Edu, Caicedo and his agency, they've had a chat and said, listen, we're coming for you. You're the guy, I'm getting you out this January. So that's already been spoken about. All Edu had to say is, play your football, keep your head down, you're coming to Arsenal. There's no way you're staying at Arsenal, you're staying at Brighton in this January. And he would have done then what he needs to do is do his job. That's what we're asking him to do, is do his job. So for me, I get what you're saying, but common sense ain't always common. We don't always know how things work. So I just look at it and I think, look, sometimes that's where the naivety comes. That's what happens when you have young players, when you have young, inexperienced people. And I just think that I'm not saying
I have another issue. I have another issue.
I hear you.
I'm seeing like there's a brother in the YouTube chat, Mike Lee. Shout out him. He made a point about how it's hard for Eddie to get a certain amount of money when Arteta's freezing guys out or whatever. The reason why I can't go above a 6, right, is because I look at summertime. Forget the 80 million, 100 million deals or whatever. I look at a Germany international, 26, 27 years old, whatever he was, Leno. The moment that he said, "Oh, I want to stay in London," all right, cool, 2 million. What on earth is that? What sort of narcotics are being consumed that Leno is going for 2 million? Guys just know that we can just rock up to Eddie and be like, "Oh yeah, like, hey, have like a 5 or something. Let's grab this brother," and he'll be like, "Yeah, okay, cool, fine. At least we got him off."
I'd agree with that. Outgoings is terrible.
Yeah, he's a bit too like, I guess, sentimental, because I hear it. He's like, "All right, cool, Leno, you want your family to stay on ends." I get that, but 2 million.
Would you say he's not rated in the market then? Because I mean, we're here that he's loved in the footballing world, but yeah, would it be a thing where he's not rated in terms of incomings and outgoings then?
The stats and the information is telling us otherwise. To whatever guys are saying that their opinion is, like, I'm seeing the way we're selling players. Nothing's incredible about it. The only one thing I can say, and I don't know who's necessarily responsible, we've had very good loans, like fair play, loaning players out. We've picked the right club every time. I don't know how much that is to do with Arteta and the whole board, but loaning players, well done.
Probably got decent fees. You just mentioned it. On loaning now, there's a couple of boys on loan. If I say some names to you, let's start with Balogun, the man of the moment. Do you loan him out again? Do you sell him? Do you integrate him into the team? Where you lot at with Balogun?
Keep, man. Keep your brother.
Contract.
He doesn't want to stay to be
the new deal as well.
Striker behind Nketiah, man. I mean, at least that's what I read yesterday or day before yesterday. If a 50 million bid comes in or higher, I would consider it, because let's remember about Willock and when that money came in and he scored all those goals.
Some fans were crying about Willock, to be fair.
Look at now. He's not worth the money they paid, really, to be honest, right? So it might be one of those things you just take the money and run if we get a really, really massive price tag. Personally, for me, I rate Balogun. I'd love to see him in preseason and stuff. I think looking at it from Arteta's perspective, I don't see how he gets game time over Nketiah like immediately. So
and if you bring in an extra, and we're going to be in the Champions League.
Exactly.
That's the thing. I think the next evolution for someone like Arteta is it's not always dump at. I think he feels like he's justified himself in one cup, in the FA Cup. Now he doesn't need to really bother about any of the other cups. So I would say, for me personally, keep the guy. We're going to be in 4 competitions, and we need to take at least 2 of them seriously, and that's the Champions League and the league. You then have your other, lesser cup, which is one of the 2 FA Cup or Carabao. So that's 3 cups we really need to take seriously. That's 3 different, roles for the strikers, and I think Balogun's proving that he's got the talent, he's got the goal scoring knack. So look, Eddie can kind of battle up front with Balogun and maybe move Jesus to the left or to the right, and you can work things there. Trossard can play and stuff and move around, and Saka's obviously going to hold down that right wing spot because he's Sir Bukayo Saka now. So listen, there's loads of different options, but I don't see how weakening our team with the we're crying now about not having enough support up front. So I just think that we should keep him. But look, African Goon is right. If he doesn't want to stay, listen, get as much. Again, this is where it comes back to Eddie. Get as much money. So even 50 million to me ain't enough. But that's what.
Well, if you can't get 35 to 50 for Balogun, something's wrong. His contract. Think about it realistically. Yeah, obviously in Balogun's case, he's one of the top goal scoring Englishmen. He's having a great season. Now, if you put yourself in the shoes of someone buying him now and you look at it, he's having a great season and this might be a marker, or is this somewhat of a surprise? Is this him turning up and announcing himself to the footballing world, or is it, I'm going to have a bit of a low down season? And for Balogun, we also don't know how he feels, Again, he might say, I want to be doing this Haaland thing and whatnot. He might say, forget that. I've been playing against Neymar, Messi. I'm playing week in, week out. As you lot know, when you're playing week in, week out, you're in your best physical condition. I'm not saying Balogun can't eclipse Eddie or Jesus, but they're in front of him right now. So at least for 6 months, there might not be too much of an opportunity. And if you remember the first parts of the season, Europa League, Arteta was going strong to get out the group. So he's going to have to do that in the Champs. Obviously, the Prem, we've been keeping the same lineup. I'm not saying he can't come off the bench and things like that, but that might have a knock-on effect for his value. I personally want to give him a new deal, and then we can decide, because we're in a strong position. But I think it's a techie one, man. And obviously, Balogun's got the same agent as Eddie. So when they were signing their new deals initially, this has to have been a conversation if the agent's doing his job. So it's a techie one for me, man.
But again, that just makes Arteta, you know, he has to think, look, do I need to in some games play 2 up top? Like,
and this is excluding bringing in the next one as well. We might just bring in another striker better than, man.
There you go. So look, like that was my other point I was gonna say. Like, just because we don't play Balogun doesn't mean we're not gonna get another forward player that can play either through the left or the right or up through the middle. So for me, look, ESR ain't even got no minutes right now, and he's gonna be playing in one of those kind of positions. I don't.
We're gonna get onto Smith Rowe. Don't say anything yet. We're gonna get onto
so look, like that's another thing. So for me, I don't think there's any reason for him to go. I think he's going to get minutes. I think he will get the chance. And look, Jesus, he got injured this season. You never know in football. Like, my man might go to Milan, and then you're behind Zlatan, Leao, Giroud, and what's the other brother's name they got up front? Origi, bro. So like, I don't see what's the point. Like, you're making yourself even more at a disadvantage. So I wouldn't even bother going.
I have one issue with what you men are saying, because obviously, we know we're playing this 4-3-3 or whatever, right? The last time I see guys on Twitter talking about, look at United when they were cooking 07-08. They had Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez, Berbatov.
Yeah, bare strike, isn't it?
But you're playing 2 up top. So the rotation is allowed. When we're playing 4-3-3, 1 striker only, and that's not including Martinelli, Trossard, whoever can play there as well. Jesus is the starter, and then it's Eddie and Balogun. I don't think you can have both. And to be very honest, I actually believe they might even sell both of them to get a serious lethal number 9. I love let's have competition, let's have this. But being realistic, if you're playing 1 striker, there ain't no third striker available. Balogun cannot come in. And like you said rightly, he's behind Eddie in the pecking order purely because Eddie's had a whole year on the right to understand how they're playing and whatnot. So I believe... listen, we would love for him to go to like Palace next year on loan or something and go and bag 15, 16 goals and then be like, all right, cool, now come Prem. But this is the most money you're ever going to get for Balogun. You're not going to get more if he bags 8 goals for Palace next season or something. So it's a techie one. But I do believe, again, we have to sort of end the sentimental thing. And we can't pretend that 3 strikers are going to be comfy, you know, waiting patiently to get minutes to play for Arsenal. It's not that realistic.
But isn't you know, firstly, we're not talking about 2 world beaters. We're talking about Eddie and Nketiah and Balogun respectively. Like, this ain't Chelsea when they had a few strikers at the same time, and they were, I think it was like even like a Solomon Kalou. Remember Solomon Kalou?
Always linked with Arsenal, forever.
This isn't that. Like, this is Balogun, bro. Like, so even for him, for me, like, calm down a little bit. Like, you're doing bits in France. I'm liking what you're doing. You're a Haaland boy as well. I think part of it as well, like, you owe us a little bit, we owe you a little bit. Like, let's try and work. Do
you believe they're not devil's advocate? Do we owe him anything?
That's not how football works. No, that's not how football works. No, that's not how football works. But I'm just saying, for me, the way I look at it,